If every day you get 1% better, by the end of a year, you are 365% better. And those are some pretty good odds. Hi, guys. I hope you're feeling wonderful today. So, we are ready for a new episode, and I'm so happy that you came back. Or if it is your first time, hi, hello. My name is Karina. I do all kinds of wellness content, and I am a sucker for self growth. Just to let you know, this episode is going to be very, very interesting and is going to break quite a couple of barriers, and we're going to talk about a couple of myths. So, if you are ready, I don't think we should take any longer to jump into all of this juicy information. So, let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about a huge problem in the wellness industry in general. One thing that you need to understand is that the wellness industry is trying to push out a specific agenda, which is to sell something to fix something. And unfortunately, that gets packaged in with the idea of you becoming. What do I mean by becoming? And for those that have scoured my page, I am very much into the theme of becoming. What we mean by becoming is becoming a new version of ourselves, becoming a better version of ourselves, becoming who we want to be. So it's this construct of us changing ourselves to the image that we envision of ourselves. So that's why I talk about becoming, because every single day I am becoming someone that I want to be, either because of my habits, either because of goals that I specifically have, or things that I would love to do. And some parts of it are easier than others. And what tends to happen when you start doing this journey of becoming is that unfortunately, you tend to find yourself in this issue of basically fixing with an item, a subscription, or something else. And unfortunately, when we go down that path, what tends to happen very often is that you find yourself completely overwhelmed because of all the things that you have purchased, because of all the things that you are doing, because of all the things that are just not working. So today, not only do I want to talk about all the myths in specific, but also I want to give pointers and advice from my own personal perspective so that you're able to actually master the art of becoming without actually losing yourself, which is one of the main issues that we all find ourselves in, is realizing that we're becoming, but losing ourselves in the middle. First of all, the whole aesthetics of everything. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. You don't need to have the perfect body. You don't need to take green juices. And you definitely don't need the 50 plus supplements that everyone is talking about. When we talk about specifically wellness associated with the idea of becoming, a lot of people are fed up all of these ideas of what it should be. What matters here is your mindset. Everything when it comes to becoming is understanding who you truly want to be, who you truly want to become. So, one of the things that I tell right away to people is understanding that just because you wake up at 5 a.m. every day does not mean that it's going to make a massive change unless it's accompanied by something else. What I mean by that is, let me give you an example. What if you do wake up at 5 a.m., but technically you can start your day at 9, so then you spend from 5 to 9 either constantly clicking your snooze alarm, scrolling on TikTok all day, or just brain rotting watching a TV show? Then what is the point? You gained nothing out of waking up at 5 a.m. So for example, you can wake up at 5 a.m., but you need to have a proper reason. You're not going to wake up at 5 a.m. constantly clicking your snooze alarm or even watching a TV show or scrolling on TikTok the whole time, especially if your day only starts later. Now, if you make the decision of, okay, so 5 a.m. does work, I still sleep my 7 to 8 hours at night, because you should, And I do want to wake up earlier because I want to be able to eat a better breakfast because that way it gives me more time to cook. Maybe I want to do Bible study. Maybe I want to meditate. Maybe you want to go to the gym. It basically allows you to have more time, which is not true. You technically are just rearranging your schedule so that it works for you. And what I mean by rearranging is truly rearranging. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. if you don't want to. You don't have to be at the 5 a.m. club. The only reason why the 5 a.m. is really seductive and really interesting to people is a couple major points. One, you feel like you are having more control. Another thing is also the fact that most people are not awake by that time. So if you're normally bombarded by multiple notifications, that will not happen at 5 a.m. Something else is if you have kids or if you have a family, it could allow you to have a portion of your time completely by yourself with no distractions, allowing you to do things that you normally can't when you have your family around. So, if those are your reasons for you to be able to pick the option of waking up at 5 a.m., those are completely valid reasons. But now, waking up for the sake of waking up, it's not an easy time to wake up because for you to sleep 7 to 8 hours and waking up at 5 a.m., that means that you got to go to bed at 8 or 9 at the latest. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. They'll go at like midnight and they'll wake up at 5 and sleep 5 hours and be sleep deprived. And that is just simply not a good option in the long term. So if we're trying to become a version of ourselves and improve our lives, are we really going to sleep just 5 hours? Especially when 5 hours of sleep every single night is just not going to make you feel good whatsoever. It's not even going to make you more productive, which is also another point that I wanted to talk about. Being productive and having this hustle culture of in the morning, I'm going to go ahead and do this, 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 and this. And in the afternoon, I'm going to go and do this, 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 this. That is not even in the slightest anything productive, especially when you reach at night and you're completely dead. What is the point? If you get at night and you're not even able to enjoy what you have been doing, you can still be productive while not overwhelming yourself. And those are the main myths when it comes to becoming is this whole idea that you need to work really hard, that you need to wake up early and sleep less and do this and do that. You don't even need to go crazy in your routine to achieve the goals that you truly are looking for. What matters here when it comes to anything of changing yourself in any sort of way is having the why and having focus to be able to actually realize what you want and what you need. Another main thing that I see is a lot of people framing it as becoming this new version of themselves, but not actually being themselves. What tends to happen very often is they envision this idea of what they should do and they embody it by associating it with an image of someone else. I see that very often when people are like, "Oh, I'll become my highest self. I'll become my dark feminine. I'll become like ugh, so many. Like I've heard everything under the sun. The psychology behind this random ass character in the movie. It's a movie, people. It's a movie. And it's super rare for things to happen that way. It's really hard for you to have sometimes those kinds of personalities because those people sometimes can be completely unbearable when we think about them in real life. And also, you're not becoming yourself. You're becoming someone else. And what's the point of going through this journey of possibly changing your body or changing your mindset, changing your career, changing how you see life, doing all these steps if then you're not even going to recognize yourself in the mirror? The whole point of becoming is evolving yourself, is reframing what you already have. You're not changing the lenses, you're changing the frame of them, because the lenses will still be the same. You're still going to see life the same way. Because let's be honest, mindset is the thing that takes the longest to change, and that will be the one that will give you the massive shift that you need. You could change your body all you want, you could change everything all you want, but it's not going to work if you don't change the lenses of the glasses. Because, and I can be honest in this, I spent years emulating what I saw. I saw myself envisioning someone in my family, copying their mannerisms. I spent years dressing the way that I thought that people wanted me to dress. I spent years having a personality that I thought people wanted me to have. And then there was a point in my life where it shifted and it changed because I realized I'm not being myself. I'm playing a character. I'm not associated with anything that I'm doing. I don't want to become a character. I want to become more like myself. I want to be further involved in what I want, my boundaries, my goals, my wishes, my desires. I want to have the body that I wish to have. I want to have the style that I envision myself to have. I envision my future self. And that's the whole point of becoming, is envisioning a future version of yourself now and embodying it now. There's this theory that I talked about in the past called the quantum leap theory. I mentioned it in the previous episode, and I went into further detail then, but very quickly. Basically, what it means is that you envision who you are in the future, but you start acting that way today. And the whole point of the idea of the quantum leap is the idea that you are becoming today where you are going to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever amount. And the whole point of it is for you to have a mindset shift on what you actually wish and want out of your life. So if you envision that your future self is someone that dresses a particular way, someone that acts a particular way, someone that carries themselves a particular way, then you grab that idea and you could go through journaling, meditation, you could write it down, you could brainstorm, you could do whatever you want. You could use ChatGPT, whatever you prefer. And what you're going to do is basically write all of it down and then implement it. You're going to implement as many things as you humanly can to actually pinpoint who you actually want to become. But that involves sometimes you having moments where it's not going to be comfortable. You're going to find yourself with traumas and anxieties and depressions and mindset modifications that you need to do. So yes, sometimes you're going to be, just like I am, in the middle of it. And when you're in the middle of trying to change yourself and trying to become this version that you envision of yourself, you're going to have moments where you're going to be like, okay, this is being difficult. This is being hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I am lost. And that's perfectly fine because we can be lost. We can not know what to do because that is real and that is honest. And that's the whole point. You're going to find yourself taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're going to find yourself going up the ladder and then falling down. And the whole point of becoming is to not lose yourself in the process. And I have not lost myself in the process. I have honed in on who I actually am. And that is what you need to do. You need to hone in on who you are as an individual and as a person beyond a character or a shell or a mask that you may apply in any sort of situation to give the idea that you have changed, because that is not changing. That is just acting. So now I want to talk about specific concepts. And I believe that those concepts may really, really help you to actually hone in on the idea of becoming and help you in your journey forward. You have what I like to call the selves, the core self and the projective self. The core self is you're truly you. what you believe in, what you like, what you dislike, who you are as a person, what makes you vibrate, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. Your true core self, your projective self is what you believe or what people envision that you should do, be, or become. What that means is what people believe that you should be should not be the version that you should follow. That is a projected idea, a character, a persona that you think that you need to embody. Which is why anytime that you tap into that idea, it will never feel comfortable. It will never feel real and it will never feel authentic. Meanwhile, if you actually tap into your core self and you allow yourself to actually truly shine and bring your personality out, not only are you going to feel happier, you're going to feel more authentic, and you're actually going to feel like anything that you accomplish actually feels accomplished. It doesn't feel like just another stone to add to the pile that you already have. I actually want to ask you this question. Are you changing to match your actual truth, or are you changing just to be accepted? As you're asking yourself multiple questions throughout your journey, you need to understand that it's okay to be slow. It's okay to just not know everything. It's okay to have a hard day. It's okay to have multiple moments where you're questioning everything that you're doing. And it's okay to decide that whatever path you're currently walking does not work for you. Anything that we do on the daily basis can be modified. I truly believe that there's no such thing as a set in fate. I believe that the universe warns us and gives us the tools so that we can follow whatever path that we carve. I believe that every day we make decisions that change our future for better or for worse. And the reality here is whatever you do today will change something, somewhere, somehow. And one thing that I really want to allow you to have deeply within yourself is this. There is nothing that you can do wrong as long as you are learning, because no one is ever failing unless they give up. No one is ever just completely in the wrong and completely on the wrong path unless they're self-destroying. Because if you are every single day trying to be, even if it was 1% better, if every day you get 1% better, by the end of a year, you are 365% better. And those are some pretty good odds. I want to take the moment to actually talk a little bit about myself and give some real life advice. I'm even going to get a little comfortable. I can tell you right now, I went through many iterations and many versions of myself. There was a time where I felt like I had to accept the fact that I was overweight. There was a time in my life where I hated being overweight. There were times where I thought that I was the dumbest person in the room. Then there were times that I thought that I was the smartest person in the room. For years, I wore masks of who I thought I should be, and I would interchangeably change them depending on the person that was in front of me. To this day, I still sometimes put on a mask while I'm at work. Part of it to create boundaries and protect myself, but I do portray this overly confident image to clients just to help me out to kind of create a barrier. I don't really show myself that easily, at least to clients. Sometimes at school, I also play this persona of understanding everything, this high student, when in reality, sometimes I don't know what the heck they're talking about, and I'm completely lost. for the simple fact that I didn't have the same tools as everyone else before I got in. So I have to study a lot harder than everyone else. But that does not mean that I'm dumb or stupid. That just simply means that I take a little longer than everyone else, at least for now at the start. I can tell you right now that I am in the middle of it. I am dealing with moments where I'm putting up masks. I'm dealing with moments where I feel sad, where I feel tired. There's moments where I want to have this high productive moment and then I crash. I can even tell you right now. Yesterday I went to the gym, and the night before I was like, yeah, I'll go to the gym and I'll lift weights and I'm going to go on the treadmill and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then I couldn't fall asleep. And then I couldn't really wake up at the time that I was originally thinking. So I ended up waking up an hour and a half later, ended up still going to the gym, but instead, well, I just hit the sauna for 20 minutes and then the hammam, which is a Turkish bath, which is like a wet sauna, did some jacuzzi and took a bath and left. I had just gotten out of my menstruation. I felt really tired. And instead of working out, I just went to relax. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why? I'm someone that I'm pretty active. I don't really stay sitting for too long. I like to go on walks. I walk to and from school, and I'm not particularly the most sedentary person. So, me having more of a chill moment, especially after getting out of a cold and having my period at the same time, I needed a reset. And that felt pretty darn good. Today, I stayed home. I had no classes in the morning because they were all recorded. So instead, I focused on taking care of other school stuff, especially projects that are close to the end of the season, and also record this episode for you guys. And I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty productive about it. And I'm pretty sure that after I record this, I'll edit the whole video, still go back to my schooling, and that will be a pretty productive day for me. And I'm in the midst of it. I am in the midst of feeling comfortable in my body, of feeling fine and feeling good and connecting with people and being okay with being around people. But I'm still in the middle of it all. I'm still dealing with multiple things every single day. And that's normal and that's fine. And that's the whole purpose of my messaging, is to let you know that you're not alone. And it's okay for you to feel all kinds of feels because everyone else does. And that's safe and that's fine. So I wanted to thank you for listening to all this wonderful messaging of this episode. And I hope you could either relate or get something out of it, or just, in the worst case scenario, entertain yourself. And I actually wanted to do a little bit of a longer outro because I really wanted to say thank you to anyone that has ever watched my content. I cannot express how much it means to me. Truly, I am just one person in the middle of the world, and you taking the time to watch my content and spend some time with me and take some of your time to be with me means a lot, because I know that sometimes watching something that is 20, 30, 40 minutes long, and it's time that I wouldn't say that you lose, but it's definitely time that you take out. And using that time to see anything from the content that I do means quite a lot to me. And I wanted to thank you for your support, for you to watch all of this. If you follow me, if you subscribe, if you do whatever it is, I am so glad and so thankful for your support. And I wanted to really, really take the time to do it because I feel like I haven't done it in a while. And maybe I'm sentimental because my birthday is coming up and all that. But I really, really wanted to thank you. And also it's kind of hard not to thank because the podcast is about to do a year as well. So I am so incredibly and wonderfully excited for all of this, completely and utterly excited. And I have been so giddy doing all of this and having new places to record and feeling so much more comfortable. And I am excited. Really, really excited. Really, really excited. And if you enjoyed this, I hope you could subscribe and I hope you could follow my Instagram page or my TikTok. I'm more active on Instagram than TikTok, I will be honest. But I hope that you can join in. And if you do, you can hit me on the comments or on my DMs. I have it open and I cannot wait to see you and speak to you again. Have a wonderful, amazing week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.